Meghan Markle just got hit with a new wave of mean girl allegations, this time from Lady Colin Campbell, aimed squarely at her Suits-era behavior. With Suits writing a massive streaming comeback and Meghan leaning hard into a kindness and empowerment rebrand, the timing is brutal. We're unpacking what's being claimed, why it's catching fire now, and how this could play out. Quick boundary before we stir the pot. These are allegations, not established facts. We won't speculate about private individuals who haven't chosen the spotlight, and we're not here to harass anyone. This is about optics, PR, and public perception. What's claimed, by whom, and how it lands. Here's the setup. Lady Colin Campbell, aristocratic eyebrow, zero indoor voice, has lobbed a royalized truth bomb. Claims from people around the Suits set that Meghan wasn't the plucky underdog we meant on screen, but a meticulously calculating queen bee off it. According to Lady C, she's spoken with multiple folks who describe a chilly hierarchy, an inner circle that got smiles and invitations, and an outer ring that got ice, charm for the camera, edge between takes. That's the gist being pushed, and whether you believe Lady C or not, her delivery is disarmingly calm, the kind of tone that makes casual viewers lean in. Why this is exploding now? Suits is having a bizarre second life on streaming. New viewers are binging Rachel Zane and then Googling. Meghan's current brand is built around empathy, resilience, and empowering women in the workplace. Mean Girl is kryptonite to that pitch. Lady C's MO is consistency. She doesn't shout and vanish. She drips anecdotes until someone else confirms a sliver. The allegations as framed by Lady C and gossip amplifiers go like this. A curated social hierarchy on set. Some were in, some were professionally tolerated but socially iced. Strategic control of image, lobbying for wardrobe or script tweaks that flattered the character. Translation, flattered the brand. Power plays around scenes, whispers of lines or beats being softened if they didn't serve Rachel's arc. Translation, Meghan's arc. Mood control, stories about the temperature dropping when she was displeased, and silent treatments that ran on a schedule. All of that is allegation, not proof. But in PR terms, it's dangerous because it's specific enough to feel plausible and vague enough to be hard to kill. Then came the accelerant. A former Suits colleague popped up on a Hollywood Nostalgia podcast. When asked about the set, they offered a tight little laugh and a carefully phrased line about some people being very aware of their image and how if you weren't in the circle, you were invisible. No names. The internet didn't need names. Clips went viral. Headlines followed. Attempts to clarify with producers reportedly went nowhere. In Hollywood, once it's out, it's out. Silence made it worse. If Meghan were universally adored behind the scenes, we'd expect a flood of statements from co-stars saying, "That's not the person I knew." Instead, we got Instagram vacation pics. Industry translation, no comment. Then Lady C moved from vibe to pattern. She dangled incidents designed to stick. The chair story, an extra allegedly in her seat, a cutting remark, and the chair removed. True or not, the meme writes itself. The cut joke story, a co-star lands a big rehearsal laugh, later the line disappears. If accurate, that's less diva, more sabotage, and that's why it pinged. The guest star story. Praise flows to another actor, complaints about disruption allegedly follow, and subsequent scripts shrink the role. Correlation isn't causation, but it's catnip for tabloids. Meghan's camp reportedly tried to counter-program with warm recollections filtered through friends in glossy outlets. Baking for the crew, big sister energy, team spirit. Lovely. But the internet runs on sound bites, not nuance. A single clipped podcast moment beats a paragraph of puff. Hollywood's read? Pragmatic. Off-screen reputation matters. One exec quote doing the rounds, "She's talented, but if her likability scores wobble, attaching her to big-budget projects becomes a headache. The time forgives temperamental stars if they're bankable. It's less forgiving of perceived hypocrisy, preaching kindness while allegedly practicing coldness. That's the narrative risk." Meanwhile, bloggers did what bloggers do, assembled a dossier. Not definitive proof, more like a scrapbook of microclaims, liked tweets, old panel quips suddenly looking loaded in hindsight. Nothing you can sue over without backfiring. Everything you don't want trending when your brand rests on empathy and leadership. Let's talk strategy, because the playbook here is tight. If Meghan flatly denies everything and one ex-crew member goes on record with a single verifiable detail, it boomerangs. If she ignores it, the story risks metastasizing into pattern coverage across years and continents. If she leans into humor, "I was a perfectionist, not a tyrant," it might land, but only if others back her up promptly. The stickiest piece here is the label. Mean Girl is 3 words, easy to remember, heavy with baggage. Once it latches on, every old photo gets new captions. Every Suits blooper reel looks staged. That's the cruelty of perception. It retrofits the past to suit the present. What Lady C understands, and Meghan's team must, are these realities. Calm accusations travel farther than rants. Lady C sounds like a headmistress reading a file. It plays as credible, even to neutrals. She doesn't need a smoking gun. She needs momentum. A vague podcast remark, a resurfaced panel clip, a liked tweet, that's enough kindling. Legal action is a dead end unless there's a cleanly false concrete claim. Mean Girl is opinion. You can't sue vibes. What would actually help Meghan? A single surgical statement. "I'm proud of the work we did on Suits. I wasn't perfect and I've grown a lot since, but cruelty is not who I am." Short, human. No point scoring. A few credible voices, ideally people with nothing to gain, saying she was demanding, not demeaning, or she had tough days, but she wasn't a bully. If those voices exist, they must speak fast. Then starve the story. No cryptic quotes, no choreographed friend essays. Pivot to visible, useful work that doesn't need violence. A measurable grant, a program expansion, a tangible win. For the audience, 2 truths can sit together without fighting. Ambitious women in Hollywood get tagged as difficult more quickly than men, that's real. And ambition and intentional unkindness are not the same thing. If strategic unkindness truly happened, it's fair to scrutinize, just not to hound. Where this goes next. If a named Suits alum goes on record with a concrete anecdote, this jumps from gossip to headline. One brick, laid squarely, changes the wall. If defenders emerge with convincing specific counters, the narrative softens, like tough, not toxic. If it stays in the realm of vibes, memes, and blind items, it will still sting, but it won't calcify. Zooming out, the optics are the whole game. Meghan has spent years narrating her royal chapter as a case study of hostility and misrepresentation. If Hollywood-era colleagues start painting a mirror image story with her on the other side of the equation, a lot of casual observers will conclude the common denominator isn't the institution, it's the individual. That's the brand risk in one line. So, smear campaign or self-inflicted storm? Maybe a bit of both. Lady C knows how to keep a pot simmering without ever letting it boil over. Meghan's camp knows how to polish silver until it gleams. Somewhere between the steam and the shine is where the truth lives. Tell me what you think. Are these claims a predictable pile-on during Suits' resurgence? Should Meghan address it head-on with one human, non-legalistic paragraph, or starve it and move on? And if you worked on that set and saw the good, will you please say it out loud? In crises like this, silence is a headline all by itself. Until then, remember, in celebrity land, perception is reality, until reality starts speaking plainly and consistently.